Good afternoon, Northwest, and welcome to the August edition of Husky Headlines. I'm Peter Educate.
And I'm Jillian Atterbury.
Hey Jillian, have you been to Deanna Rose recently?
Yeah, I got an inside scoop onto a new form of yoga.
Have you ever done yoga before?
Farm animals and yoga aren't two things one would normally associate with each other, but Deanna Rose recently introduced goat yoga, an increasingly popular activity catching the attention of many, including individuals at Northwest.
Goat yoga is a chance for people to come to the farmstead and interact with our goats while doing yoga. It's been going on the West Coast for several years. It started in Oregon, and we had seen news stories. CBS Sunday Morning did a news story, and it ran over the winter, and that's when a lot of our volunteers and our guests said, we need to do that at the farmstead. It'll be 45 minutes of laughing, so it's getting people out, getting them active, getting them healthy.
I follow Deanna Rose on Facebook because I do some other events here, and I saw that they were doing goat yoga and I just got super excited. So I texted Ms. Storhoffer and I was like, hey, Deanna Rose is doing goat yoga, do it with me, and she said that she would.
A lot of people that come have never done yoga and they're very distracted by the goats. So we do a gentle yoga that is more laughing and having fun than actually doing yoga. So probably the only complication is if people are a little bit hesitant with the goats. So we have come up with a way to have a handler in the pen who has feed, and she walks around and puts a little feed on each mat so the goats will interact with all the guests. Once they've seen the goats for a few minutes, they get used to them, and then they're more comfortable.
I think my first concern before we got here was the clothes that we were wearing. We were both talking about what should we wear. We were scared that the goats were gonna claw at us. We weren't sure do they have claws? Do they have nails? Are they gonna bite us? My other concerns were that they were going to use the restroom close to me, which immediately happened.
Not only did goats have a lack of bladder control, but eating hair and climbing on the participants' back weren't just part of the fun.
It's the happiness factor. The goats interact with the people, they climb on the people. People bring their cameras and make memories and take the pictures home. They put it on social media, they tell their friends about it. I have not had a single night that I don't hear someone say, this is the best day of my life. They just love it. It's making so many people happy.
I would say it was definitely worthwhile. It was a lot of fun, especially if you go with someone, because then you have those memories to look back on and you have the pictures.
For a reasonable price, it was so much fun for the time that we had. You get a great relaxing yoga experience. It was a ton of fun, and then at the end you get 15 minutes to just hang out with the goats and take pictures, and I can't say I've ever had a goat climb on my back before, so.
It's just the combination of nature, small baby animals, yoga, and happiness.
To learn more about goat yoga, call Deanna Rose at 913-895-6390 or visit opkansas.org. This is Jillian Atterbury and Merrick Yanania for Husky Headlines. Peter, have you been to the counselor's office recently?
No, but Riley tells us about an old face returning to a new role.
A new counselor who has been added to the Blue Valley Northwest staff this year is Stephanie Keller. However, she is not entirely new because she attended Northwest as a student when she was in high school. Before becoming a counselor here at Northwest, she was a math teacher at Oxford Middle School, and she attended that school as a student as well.
I wouldn't say that I'm surprised by the differences here. Because when I came to Northwest, it really felt familiar. It was kind of a safe, comfortable role that I could fill in. I feel already at home, and everybody has been so helpful and kind, and it's just picking up where I left off in a different role.
I think that's definitely a positive of coming into the building, especially as a counselor, and also being in Oxford last year, so she knows a lot of the students that went through Oxford already. So she definitely kind of has a fast track to building relationships with students.
You know, when she came to OMS, she was really young, so she was only out of college for a year. And it's important at a school like this that you have some teachers who have been here for a while. But to bring in some fresh young people every year for the staff, it makes a huge difference to the kids. She has the heart of a teacher. She cares so much about students, and in her new job, I know she can really do that even more.
Keller was very involved at Northwest when she was a student. She was a three-sport athlete playing softball, volleyball, and basketball, in addition to being in National Honor Society, Spanish Honor Society, and Art Honor Society. She had a great time as a student here at Northwest and is now committed to helping other students in their daily lives.
I think that it speaks volumes for the experience that they had at Northwest. If they want to return here and spend their career here, to me that tells me they had a pretty good high school experience themselves. I thought she was a great student, and I also had the opportunity to know her as a fellow math teacher when she was over at Oxford Middle School. So I'm just delighted that she's now here as a counselor. I know she'll do great things here.
Mrs. Keller was very organized. She was always super happy and energetic. She was so patient. Like, I'm not very good at math, so when I'd get confused, she would always take her time and be so patient and understanding. Like, she only got mad at our class once. I don't think I ever saw her yell the whole year. I think she'll be a wonderful counselor.
Usually what we hear from people that come back to teach is that somebody made an impact on their life that was in this building, whether that was a teacher or a counselor. And so making a difference in their lives, they want to now pay it forward for other students.
I feel like that saying of once a Husky, always a Husky really applies to me. I was welcomed back to where I'd been for 4 years as a student. I feel like I have those roots. I'm able to go right back into feeling at home.
Keller is excited to be back at the school she spent 4 great years of her life at and is looking forward to this year as a counselor. This is Riley Beach and Melanie Wilkins for Husky Headlines.
Nick and I take a look into a new activity that recently developed in Overland Park. This past summer, a new entertainment venue opened in Overland Park, Bury the Hatchet.
Specifically, Overland Park just needed some entertainment, you know what I mean? There was not a lot of things to do in the Overland Park area. You either had to go to Legends or you had to go to other parts of the city. We get kids 10, 12 years old, all the way up to 60, 70, 80. We try to build our facility and cater to every type of person. All of our Axe Masters go through extensive training, both so they know how to do it, but to recognize other people and how to train them to do it safely. So the way we have our facility built, there's only the person throwing and the Axe Master in the lane at any time. The distances we have, the type of mats we use, so we put a lot into the safety aspect.
During our visit, Jason demonstrated how simple it is to learn the process of axe throwing. With some struggles at the beginning, we were both surprised to find how easy it was to plant the axes in the target.
I think the coaching is probably the biggest aspect. There's other axe throwing places that I've visited. They teach you how and then they walk away and just kind of leave you to your own devices. And you don't know what you don't know. So you start doing it wrong and you don't know how to correct it. So throughout the whole 2-hour period when we're with you, we're consistently coaching and changing and tweaking your throw so you're becoming more or less an expert by the time you leave, but also just the entertainment side. We have 12 60-inch TVs that are playing whatever local sports are playing. All of our scoring is done digitally on 50-inch monitors above every lane. Refrigerators placed throughout the facility for you to keep food and beverages cold. And we do that to keep the cost low and the fun high.
With its growing popularity and unique experience, Bury the Hatchet provides the newest entry in entertainment in Overland Park. This is Peter Educate and Nick Swiden for Husky Headlines.
Ryan takes us inside fall sports.
For our sports highlights this show, we brought in seniors from the Northwest cross country and volleyball teams to get to know them a little better.
My role model is probably my mom because she played D1 in college, and so that's kind of where I'm getting my athletics from.
Favorite course to race at is Lone Elm. Somehow they figured out a way to make it all downhill and still end up in the same spot, which is kind of crazy.
Lacrosse. 100%. Dude, you know how many, you can just tackle people.
My pre-race rituals are usually just having pasta the night before, but not eating too much food. And usually before a race, I always have to have a bagel with cream cheese on it and half a cup of coffee. That's just my thing.
I have a lot of confidence in my team and knowing that they know how to put the ball down and we can do it.
Outside of the sport that I play, I enjoy swimming and biking and triathlon, as well as rock collecting, and I enjoy driving my Jeep.
So my coach, Coach Long, she always says, like, when we're running, she says it's her favorite quote. It's like, whenever you feel like quitting, like, remember why you started. So it just like keeps us going.
Hey, Peter, the kicker for the football team is really talented. I wish I had his talent.
His talent. Ryan found out something unique about an addition to this year's football team.
After football tryouts in August, Coach Clint Ryder decided to add sophomore Sophie Shaw to the Husky roster, making her the second girl in school history to play for the football team.
Everybody has just reacted as if Sophie's one of us and has treated her that way, and I think that's the way we would want anybody to react to anybody that joins our program. You can't tell any difference just because Sophie's a female. She doesn't act any differently. She doesn't approach things any differently than any other football player, and I think when you play football, you have to approach it with that mindset, and Sophie's approached it with that mindset, and I think she's earned respect from everybody on our team.
I feel like there's a ton of pressure with just being a kicker, not just being the only girl, but with being a kicker, there's a ton of pressure because the game's on the line. It's one shot. It's not like you get another play, and it's make or miss. And I think that's a big pressure. But also being the only girl, I think that's also a stereotype that since I've broken, that's also a lot of pressure. That's my biggest fear, is that people judge me before they even look at me, before they even see a game. If they see that a girl's on the roster, they're not going to go to the game.
She comes to work. She's not all about attention. She actually wants to play. She wants to knock heads with all of us, and we've all learned to accept her into it, and it's been awesome.
Even though Shaw was set on adding a new sport, her mom was not very keen on her playing football, but has recognized her daughter's passion and is excited to see her daughter play.
She made it through boot camp, and that was really hard the whole summer. And I saw the way coaches and the boys treated each other, and they treated her just like anyone else. The enthusiasm and the camaraderie that they have, the team atmosphere they have is awesome, which made me feel good about it.
My mom, she was a bit on the edge and not really wanting to. She's gotten more used to it, and she's been up at 4:30 taking me to practice and getting me ready for my day and making sure that I'm not injured and making sure I'm in the best shape I can be.
During our scrimmage, she came up to me and said, "What's up, dog?" I said, "How's it going, man?" And just talks football. She talks about kickers. I don't really know anything, so I learned quite a bit from her, actually, through that conversation.
I love being around her. She is everything that we want in a player and a part of our program. She has high character, but just the type of person she is and how fearless she is to insert herself into that kind of situation, and having done it so well, I think is really admirable.
So all the girls out there who think that if somebody says that you can't do something, you can. I hope that I inspire some girls to go out of their comfort zone and don't let anybody stop you, because it's your life. You need to take control of that.
Shaw and her team are looking forward to starting off strong as they kick off the 2018 football season. This is Ryan Blank and Peter Educate for Husky Headlines.
Peter, look how good of a twirler I am. I should try out for color guard.
You know, if you weren't a senior, they might actually have room for you next year. Allie tells us more.
In recent years, color guard participant numbers have been on the rise. This has changed many aspects of how the color guard works as a team.
We have 20 girls this year on the team, including the section leaders. Last year we had 13 total, and 13 was actually the member of girls that were new to our team. So it's an incredible increase.
It requires more coordination, I would say, in that when we have larger numbers, we're more spread out on the field, so it will require more section leaders if we have a lot more people, just so that there's a leader spaced out evenly within the group.
I feel like it's better if we have more people. Like, it's a better chance for it to be, I guess, messier, but we're all working really hard, and so I think it's gonna turn out really great. And I don't know, I just feel like bigger is better sometimes.
The increase in numbers this past year can be attributed in part to the increased recruitment of incoming freshmen last year.
I'd like to see our recruiting stay pretty heavy in the middle schools, because I think coming in to high school, already having a group before school even starts is a great way to find your niche in the school.
It's just a really great thing to be a part of. The family aspect of band is like no other. Our theme, Home, this year totally circulates around that, around band as a home. And I just love that of color guard. You will find friends in color guard. You will find this wonderful, wonderful family.
I would tell people that are considering doing color guard, reach out to anybody on the team and they'll tell you anything you want to know about it. It's a ton of fun, and you don't have to have any musical experience or, dance experience to try out. We'll teach you all that and to give it a shot.
Coach Hennes hopes that numbers will continue to grow, with an ideal team number of 24 people. For now, they will continue to work on their performances as a team. This is Allie Brenneman and Riley Beach flagging down this story for Husky Headlines.
Hey Jillian, what's that apple for?
It's for my teacher. Mary finds out interesting facts about back-to-school customs.
With the back-to-school spirit circulating around the nation, we decided to go around and test Northwest on their knowledge of the subject.
What percent of students' body weight should their backpack weigh?
Oh, okay, I'm gonna say 10%.
4.
Sure.
3.
It should weigh no more than 20%.
According to kidshealth.org, a student's backpack should weigh between 10 to 20% of their body weight.
What school supply is ranked number 18 on the list of most recognizable smells?
What? Smelly pen.
The glue that teachers that they would keep behind their desks.
Expo markers.
Crayons.
Yeah.
A study done by Yale University ranked crayons number 18 on a list of most recognizable smells, some of which include coffee, mothballs, and Vicks Vapor Rub.
Why do we give our teachers apples as a sign of appreciation?
Because apples start with an A, and appreciation also starts with an A.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away, but it's really an apple a day gets you good grades. When they had one-room schoolhouses, like everyone would come from farms, right, to go to school, and they would just bring apples with them.
According to childrensmuseum.org, in 16th century Denmark, teachers could not afford food due to low pay, so parents of students gave them apples as a means of nutrition.
How much do families with school-age children spend on school apparel and supplies?
Oh my God.
Too much.
$1,000?
$225. $80, $90.
I listened to NPR and they said $750.
According to a survey done by the National Retail Federation in 2013, an average family with school children spends approximately $634.78 on supplies and apparel.
Before erasers were invented, what did people use to erase their mistakes?
They couldn't.
Whale fat?
Kind of disgusting, but is it their spit?
Whiteout?
According to historyofpencils.com, before the invention of erasers, white bread was commonly used to erase errors. While there's still much to learn about the history and facts associated with back to school, this should act as a gateway to a vast world of knowledge and learning. This is Mary Kiani Nia wishing you a happy school year for Husky Headlines.
Abby and Ben introduced us to the first edition of Northwest Snapshots.
I wouldn't say that I ever really got into art. It's kind of like I've always been making art. It's like, when did you start breathing? Well, I started breathing technically at birth. I did not start doing anything. I've always been doing it. Art has given me a megaphone with which I can blast my brain nonsense everywhere. What is essentially creative ramblings, that's what my art is. It's like if you could ramble in visual form. I started this journal for the purpose of my brain was exploding and I could not put my feelings into words. And so a lot of times in my art you see the scribbling. There is so much energy, and it's chaotic energy that comes out throughout my art. I've got so many emotions that I cannot put them into words, so that I put them into lines. The best place you can be in as an artist is making it for yourself. Most people start out making things for other people, but as soon as you start doing things for yourself and stop caring about the way that other people interpret your things and the way that people will judge you after seeing things, as soon as you just start making things that make you happy, you're in the gold. You got a really good situation. I honestly don't care if I'm well known or not. Peter.
Oh, sorry. I was listening to one of Northwest's new rappers. Nick tells us more about this upcoming artist.
Rapping under the SoundCloud username 00 Mike, senior Mikey Mandry and his friends have grown in popularity among their peers in the Northwest community.
I basically got into making music because, like, in the car with my friends, we would, like, freestyle over beats and stuff, and then they all kept telling me, like, oh, you're pretty good at this, so I figured I would just try it, like, recording it. And at first it was, like, really bad and I wasn't really uploading anything, but then I kind of learned how to do it, so that's kind of how I got into it. Once I kind of, like, freestyle something I like, I'll write it down and then, like, work from that until, like, the whole song's done. It's, like, a pretty quick process.
We used to just freestyle a bunch, and that's kind of how I first started. And then we would go home and, like, we would spit bars and just chill, and, like, that's what we did when we hung out.
The newest one I made, 445, with all my friends. I really like it just because it's new and it has all them on it. And it's kind of long, but, like, we all had verses on it, so I like that one.
We just made a song, and then after that, like,
We just thought it was really fun, like hearing ourselves on it, and we're like, yeah, this is pretty cool, and we just kept going.
It's just something to do, and you slowly get better and better, and seeing yourself get better is pretty cool.
Yeah, I started with like when everyone else did it, like we just kind of like all came together probably like once a week for about 2 years.
Along with making music just for fun, Mandry and his friends have now spread their sound throughout Northwest.
I've gotten a lot of good feedback just from all my friends and stuff. Like, no one's ever really hated on me for it. Even a lot of the teachers know about it just because of my friends telling them about it, and it's all pretty good.
They like it. Like, a lot of my friends are excited to hear me in one of Mikey's songs. They enjoy it.
It's kind of cool just how he's got a lot of people that listen to him, and every time we'll make a song, it's just cool knowing that like people are gonna listen to it and that hopefully think it's like pretty fire.
I think the supportive community is pretty cool because every time he drops something new, there's a whole buzz like around it, and it's kind of dope just hearing people talk about stuff that you're making and being supportive about it.
At first, no one really knew about it, and then once people started hearing about it, I had a lot of people tell me in school and stuff they like my new song or whatever, so like it helps. It like makes me want to keep making more.
Just doing something creative with my friends, all collaborating on something, and then having such a dope final product. That's what I like about it.
We've gotten closer just because we all come together to like make one song. We're just all rapping, having fun together, so it's all said and done. It's really cool.
Well, me and my friends have been able to get closer through this because we kind of like want to hang out more and like we just have more fun together, because if we have like nothing to do, we don't just all go home and whatever. Like we'll just drive around and like freestyle in the car, and then if we do something we like, we'll go back and record it all. So it's just fun always.
As they improve their skill and gain more followers, Mandry and his friends will continue to release new music on the Double O Mike SoundCloud account. This is Nick Swiden and Ben Johnson for Husky Headlines.
Hey Julian, what are you looking at?
I'm looking for t-shirts on 196 Borders. Matthew tells us more.
BVNW senior Megan Shortfigure has turned a fun hobby into a business. This past August, she launched her own clothing line, 196 Borders. Now at the age of 18, she is the CEO of her own company.
So my company is a t-shirt company, and I sell shirts with quotes on them to give people inspiration to want to travel and just like live life outside of their comfort zone. And the name of my company, 196 Borders, actually like represents all the countries in the world. There's like around 196 countries, and so I figured that was the perfect name for a travel company.
After establishing her own company in August, Shortfigure has continued creating and producing her clothing line.
The process that I go through to make my clothing is I start with finding a quote that I really like and just one that really sticks with me. And then I go on to Adobe Illustrator and I create the quote as how you would see it on the shirt. I send my design into this company that screen prints it onto this special transfer paper, and then they'll send the paper back to me. And then I like personally will heat press the design onto the shirts that I order.
I think Megan's a very hard worker, and I think she really enjoys people. And she wants to be successful, and she's very creative and artistic.
Well, she inspired me by watching her do her own company. I felt like if she can do something like this from start again, maybe I can too.
My dad and my two older brothers have actually mentored me a lot through this process. I am like very creative minded, and I'm not the best when it comes to business things. And my dad actually runs his own business, so it's really helpful through all this because he can, tell me what I need and help me with like the marketing side of it and just like all the nitty-gritty business things that I would have no idea how to do otherwise.
With the help that Shortfigure has received from her family along with her self-motivation, she is proud of the business she has created and the fact that she can call it her own.
I think the most rewarding part to my journey is honestly just having something to like call my own. It's actually something I could see myself doing in the future, and it's something that is just mine and like unique to me.
Although the company is relatively new, Shortfigure and her family are hopeful for the company's future.
Well, my hopes for Megan and her company in the future is that it's very successful, and the first thing she tries is successful and wonderful.
I think for her though, her biggest goal, too, is be a company where she could have a career out of it.
As Shortfigure's company grows, she hopes to spread the love of traveling and positivity with her t-shirts. This is Matthew Mayer and Jillian Atterbury for Husky Headlines.
That's it for this edition of Husky Headlines. I'm Jillian Atterbury.
And I'm Peter Edgecate. Have a great day, Northwest. Hey Jillian, have you been to DM?
Hey Peter, have you heard what other people are saying about... Hey Peter, have you heard what other people are saying?
Have you noticed anything different about the new soccer?
I'm sorry, I'm trying.